You asked for it. My number one red flag in a woman is when a woman plays Fortnite. Username Lovely Low 54 built.
Okay. Dobbs decision on abortion. Well, today marks exactly 1 year since the U.S. Supreme Court handed down its Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health ruling, overturning its own 1973 decision on abortion from Roe v. Wade. As ABC 22 Sam Israel shows us, different groups of people in our region have very different perspectives.
1 year following the Dobbs ruling, Right to Life hosted a celebration on the Vermont State House lawn. However, it's worth noting that other organizations like Planned Parenthood of New England held contrasting views, hosting an event on Saturday in North Bennington, June 24th, 2023, an anniversary of controversy.
It was a great injustice done by the Supreme Court back in 1973.
Pieces of cake were distributed on the Vermont State House lawn, and the Divine Mercy Choir sang songs.
It's really beautiful to see the community come together to have these international singers from the Congo and so many different countries.
The day was personal for some pro-lifers.
I was pro-choice until 1985, at which point I saw an ultrasound of my son, and my thought was, what the heck are you doing here? My son was born with Down syndrome, and it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. If I had known he was Down syndrome prior to birth, I probably would have elected for an abortion.
I was conceived and raped, and I thank God that I was born before 1973, before abortion became legal in our country, and I'm so grateful to be alive.
Vermont has taken action since the ruling, including a reproductive liberty amendment within the state's constitution. Republican Governor Phil Scott also supported legislation securing crucial abortion pills like mifepristone.
Vermont's one of those states that there's a lot of breadth in the Vermont Republican Party, and but I think that speaks to just the nature of the electorate.
In Montpelier, Sam Israel, ABC 22 News.
Nearly a year ago today, the U.S. Supreme Court made a historic decision overturning federal abortion protections included in Roe v. Wade.
The Dobbs decision sparked controversy across the U.S., with most abortions now banned in at least 14 states. But we've seen a big response in our region from both sides of the issue. NBC5's Adrian Pastor checked in with local organizations and has more on what they're hoping to see.
Lawmakers in New York and Vermont both passed legislation since Roe was overturned, not only to codify abortion rights in their state constitutions, but also protect people seeking abortion from out of state and the doctors in our region providing care. Since July of last year, Planned Parenthood of Northern New England says it's provided care to more than 3,000 patients from every corner of the country. The Northern New England chapter has also seen a 12.5% increase in and out of state patients seeking abortion because they came from states where they can't legally get one, or because wait times are too long in their home state. Officials say Texas, Florida, Louisiana, and Arkansas are all among the top 10 states patients hail from. Meantime, Vermont Right to Life continues advocating for alternatives to abortion, with plans to hold a birthday picnic on the State House lawn in Montpelier this weekend to commemorate the 1-year anniversary of the Dobbs decision.
We would like to begin to show who we are to Vermont, and I think that starts on Saturday, and draw that contrast, which I think is beginning to dawn on people, that Planned Parenthood and other major abortion lobby forces in the State House are not pro-choice. They are pro-abortion, and they're single-minded about it.
We can't understate the emotional and psychological impact that this has on human beings who are seeing their rights taken away before their very eyes.
Meantime, the medical director for Planned Parenthood of Northern New England says we're still seeing the fallout of the decision, leaving patients, quote, desperate, confused, and fearful. The organization is planning to unveil an abortion advocacy quilt, which includes contributions from more than 50 Vermonters. That's happening on Saturday in North Bennington. In the newsroom, Adrian Pastor, NBC5 News.
And earlier today in Montpelier, Vermont Right to Life hosted an event to commemorate the first anniversary of the overturning. NBC5's Tyler Baronski was there and talked with both sides on the matter.
Pro-lifers having a birthday party on the State House lawn.
Happy birthday to you.
Celebrating the first anniversary of Roe v. Wade being overturned.
1 year later, Roe v. Wade being overturned has saved over 30,000 babies. That's amazing, right?
Roe v. Wade was a 1973 ruling that established a constitutional right to an abortion in the U.S. When it was overturned last year, it meant decisions on the legalities of an abortion were left to the states.
Nearly 50 years, Roe haunted our country, allowing abortion on demand. And now we have the ability and the power to change hearts and minds, and especially laws, from state to state to make sure that every single human being is protected from the violence of abortion.
Lucy Laresh from Planned Parenthood says 20 states have either banned or restricted abortion access. Vermont and New York are not on that list, as legislators have established abortion rights. Laresh says they've seen more than a 12% increase in people coming from out of state to Vermont for abortion care. She says she's thankful to work in a state where they can provide that access.
It's a position of privilege, but a position of privilege also comes with responsibility, and we have a responsibility for doing everything we can to help people from other places access abortion care.
Pro-life advocates say while overturning Roe v. Wade is a victory, there's still much more work to be done.
Dobbs still missed the most fundamental point, which is why our fight has only just begun. It missed the fact that a life is a life, no matter how small.
In Montpelier, Tyler Bronski, NBC5 News.
Isabel? Since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, in that time, some states have enacted tough new abortion laws, while Vermont, we know, went in the other direction. ABC 22's Isabel Schoeneman breaks down what the current landscape in the state looks like. Isabel?
Thanks, Lauren. 1 year after the Dobbs decision, officials from Planned Parenthood say Vermont is a place of privilege, having added reproductive care to the state constitution, while organizations opposed to abortion say Article 22 was not necessary. June 24th, 2022, a day many in the nation won't forget. The Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. The Dobbs decision gave individual states the authority to regulate abortion.
Nationally, it's pretty grim, like lives are at stake. And of course, the people who are most impacted by this are people without a lot of resources.
Lucy Laresh with Planned Parenthood says abortion is now illegal in 20 states and counting, but notes the situation in Vermont is a different story.
Legislators and Vermonters and the governor have all voiced really strong support for abortion rights.
Vermonters overwhelmingly passed Article 22 this past November, adding reproductive rights to the state constitution. The head of Vermont Right to Life says it was a time of much misinformation.
They advertised it as urgently necessary, even though abortion was legal all the way back to 1972 in Vermont, and now in a constitutional amendment, it was never necessary.
Right to Life says the emphasis should be on helping people raise an unexpected child or linking to adoption services. Mary Hahn Beerworth says Planned Parenthood has no business in the State House.
Planned Parenthood is the largest provider of abortions in Vermont, and that's a conflict of interest for them to be in the State House finding ways to increase the number of abortions performed here.
But Laresh believes abortion is a human right.
We in Vermont are sitting in a place of great privilege with regards to being able to maintain and strengthen our rights. At the same time, with that privilege comes a responsibility to make sure that we do whatever we can for people who don't have that right.
She notes the Planned Parenthood St. Johnsbury location expanded its service, now offering medication abortions. She says it's an important step in a low-resource area close to the state border, where people in New Hampshire can also access service. Both organizations are hosting events this Saturday to commemorate 1 year since the Dobbs decision. Right to Life is hosting a birthday picnic in Montpelier, celebrating the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And Planned Parenthood of Northern New England will be unveiling an abortion advocacy quilt in North Bennington. Live in the studio, Isabel Schoeneman, ABC 22 News.
I think the most common metaphor we live with is our lives as ladder that we climb rung by rung, or building that we build up brick by brick. And these rungs are going to be different for different people. Maybe it's grabbing that rung that is the perfect graduate school you hoped you would get into, or finishing graduate school with all the job offers from the perfect.